Hi guys, if you're new here, my name's Jen and I am about to graduate from ASU's law school. So I figured I would just make a video on my experience thus far if anyone's interested in applying or you're considering going or just wanted to know more about the law school. So I'm just gonna take it from the beginning and just let you guys know my experience. So we'll start with the admissions process and just getting in. Schools report online their average GPA and LSAT score of the incoming class the year before. So yeah, just being transparent on that, my LSAT score was within their range. I don't believe it was near the top of the range. I think I was comfortably in the middle of their LSAT range, and then my GPA was above their range. So those were my numbers going in. And then of course the application has other components too, but I just wanted to let you guys know where I fell numbers wise. And then I wrote my personal statement about dance. I've been a dancer my whole life, if you guys didn't know. So I just wrote it about, I don't really remember, just dance, I don't know. Basically, I just tried to really paint myself as a dancer so that when they were considering me and going through the applications, they could just sort of oh, right, the dancer. I'm sure there were other dancers who applied. I'm just saying it just helped to really put myself, to almost label myself just so that they knew how to reference me in the application pool in their minds, if that makes sense. I had a professor in undergrad who gave me this tip and said make sure they know, make sure you allow them to place you in a mental category in their head so that they can keep you in mind. So I was advised not to just write out my life story on my personal statement. So I wrote strictly about dance. Anyways, I did get in and I was offered some scholarship money, and I got into other law schools and I was considering them, and it came down to ASU and one other school who had offered me significantly more money. Granted, it was a lower ranked law school, but they had offered me significantly more money. But I wanted to go to ASU. I was already living in Scottsdale. I really liked living here, wanted to go to ASU. So I went in for a visit and I met with a guy who works in admissions there, and I told him that I'm looking at another school that's offered me a lot more scholarship money. And this was merit-based scholarship, not need-based. And so ASU has a process where if you're asking for more scholarship money, you send them a copy of the scholarship offer you're deciding between. So I sent them the other school's letter with how much they had offered me. And then you write another essay on why you think you deserve more money. And so because my LSAT, so law schools care a lot about numbers, LSAT score, GPA, and I think they care mostly about LSAT score. I think that's largely determinative of how much scholarship money you get. I don't know if I'm right, but I think I am. So because my LSAT score was within the range and my GPA was above their range, I just wrote why my GPA is more representative of me as a student than my LSAT score would be. But they were able to up my scholarship a bit. They didn't bring it to what the other school had offered me, but they were able to increase it a bit. Okay, so that's how I got in, and now I'm about to graduate. So I'm just gonna tell you guys my top 4 pros of going to ASU Law. These are the 4 things that have stood out to me the most about the law school, and we'll get into it. The number 1 pro, I would say, is that ASU Law is climbing in law school rankings. Not that those mean a ton, but my point is ASU Law is improving and they want to keep improving, and they don't really have a reputation to sit on. It's a pretty young law school, and the law school is trying to distinguish itself from ASU's undergrad program. And so they are constantly striving to be better, hiring on new faculty, always working to get better. And I've never been to another law school, so it's not like I can speak about other law schools, but I'm just saying it's nice that they don't just have a reputation to fall back on. They have real incentive to make it a good experience and a prestigious experience for the people who go there. So my second pro with the law school has got to be the professors. I have had truly some of the most incredible professors I've ever met in my life at this law school, and I just can't say enough good things. And I think it goes along with my first pro that ASU is constantly striving to improve and climb up these rankings and stuff. So they're always looking to add better additions to their faculty, and they're doing a great job. And I've just had some of the most amazing professors. I'll leave my email and Instagram in the description. If any of you have questions about specifics, you want to know which professor specifically I've loved, I'm happy to do that offline. I just don't want to do that in a YouTube video, but that's that. So my third pro for ASU's law school has just been how much legal work there is in Phoenix and how easy I have found breaking into this profession to be. The idea of networking always really scared me, and I really haven't had to do much of it, I don't feel like. I mean, I guess technically a lot of things I've done were networking, but they never felt like it, and I'll explain what I mean. So ASU's law school is situated right downtown among a ton of the big firms here in Phoenix. And pre-COVID, there would be lunch speakers, multiple lunch speakers every single day on campus, and you could just go to a lunch talk and then just go up afterwards and introduce yourself and even suggest coffee with the lawyer who gave the talk, and 99% of the time they were willing to do it. And it's just been so easy. I mean, the profession is just right there at lunch every day at the law school, and it never felt that stressful to go talk to them or do anything. And then also there's just a ton of work here in general. Phoenix is such a large area. It covers so many different towns, and there's just a ton going on. So finding internships and even my job post-grad, it was never that stressful, and it never felt that competitive because there's just a lot of work here, and the law school does a great job of bringing a lot of those opportunities right to you at lunch, and you can just go shake hands and set up coffee, and it really was never that stressful. I don't really, yeah, like I said, like networking, that's really not the type of person that I am, but I never felt like anything I was doing was networking. Okay, so my fourth and final favorite thing about ASU's law school is just how nice and new the campus is. It's only a few years old, and it's beautiful. It's got tons of floor-to-ceiling windows and natural light, and it's clean and modern, and it's like technologically advanced, and it just makes learning a lot easier than I think it would be in some more dated academic buildings. Like it doesn't really feel like an academic building a lot of the time, and law school's hard enough, so to have a really nice atmosphere to learn and study in, it's just, honestly, it's made a big difference to me. And yeah, I just love the campus. Like when you first walk in, there's a courtyard on the ground floor, and then our law school's sort of auditorium, we call it the Great Hall, is to one side, and the wall separating the courtyard from the Great Hall, it opens floor to ceiling. So then the Great Hall just like merges with the courtyard, and you can sit inside, outside, halfway between. It's just like a really nice place to be. And Phoenix has nice weather most months out of the year, so that indoor-outdoor feel is really nice, and the campus is just nice, and it really helped. So that's on my list. I guess I should touch on grades a little. I feel like that's a big part of law school. ASU does have a curve, which I know a lot of law schools are moving away from. We have not left that yet. So ASU Law still has a curve. However, for upper division courses beyond when you're a 1L, I'm pretty sure professors no longer have to give out C's, which just means that there are now more A's given out and more B's as opposed to C's. So that's nice, and that was a recent development, but we do still curve it, so something to keep in mind. My grades were kind of all over the map 1L year. A lot of them were just like solidly in the middle. I had some really good grades. I had one bad grade. Like they were just kind of all over the map, but you also don't get to choose your professors as a 1L. So those professors, I was like the only professors I've ever not loved. I didn't get to choose them. I was just put with them as a 1L. So anyways, but as a 2L and certainly as a 3L, I have found which professors I click with. So I've taken a lot of professors more than once for different classes they teach. And a big reason I did that was in order to keep my grades up, because I know how to do well in their classes, because I know how to pay attention and I know what their finals are going to be like, even though the subject matter differs. So grades really haven't been an issue for me through law school, and they've just been pretty solid, honestly, the whole time, once I sort of found the patterns and what works for me. So just study your professors. If something clicks, go follow that professor, take a lot of their classes. If it doesn't click, maybe avoid that professor unless you really want to learn that subject matter. One of my professors this semester, this is the 4th class of hers I'm taking, so I really commit to this. But I think people, I don't know, I just think when you find a good professor who gives a fair final, like, follow them. And again, if you want to know more about those professors and the courses specifically that I've taken, feel free to email me or reach out to me on Instagram, and I'm happy to talk more specifically about which professors I have done this with. But that was my strategy with grades. Okay, so before we wrap up, I just wanted to touch on socializing in law school, because I think it's a big piece of it, and it's something I did not do a great job of during my time at ASU, and so I can give you things I wish I had done differently. I commute in about 30 minutes to my law school. If you're considering ASU Law, it's probably going to be easier to make friends if you do live in downtown Phoenix by the campus. I absolutely love where I live. I've never minded commuting, but I do think it made it harder to make friends because I would see people in class, but I would not see them on the weekends because I didn't go downtown to like go out and stuff on the weekends. So just keep that in mind. I think that would make it easier, but a ton of students commute just like me, so it doesn't really matter. It's probably just easier. Also, go to the optional orientation events. I did not. I only went to what was mandatory, like the informational parts of orientation. And I later learned that a lot of people met and sparked friendships at like the orientation happy hour that was optional and things like that. And I wish I had gone to that stuff, but I just left after the mandatory pieces. Go to it and introduce yourself. And then if you have a class with that person, you know, once school starts, you guys already have a common bond, you've already met. Might just make it easier. Maybe you have someone to sit next to or something. I don't know. I wish I had gone to that stuff. But then just as a more general note, just talk to people in law school. Try to get to know the people you sit next to in class, especially in your smaller classes. Like your writing class as a 1L will be smaller than your other lecture courses. So get to know those classmates. It's going to make your academic life easier if you ever need notes from someone. If you weren't there, you have questions, you can study for finals together, form a study group. Whatever. It's just going to make your life a lot easier if you just talk to people and get to know them. Join student organizations. That's another good way to meet people. And ask for phone numbers. This is something I wish I learned sooner in law school. I wish I learned what a small deal it is to ask for someone's number. For some reason in my head that feels like a really big deal, but it's really not. If you have a class with someone and you guys chat for even a few minutes before class or after class or during a group discussion or whatever, just ask for their phone number. It's such a small deal and it is probably gonna help you. If not that semester, it's gonna help you down the line. Maybe you'll need someone else's phone number, but you can ask that person if they have it. Like, the more phone numbers you have in law school, the easier your experience will be. And there's no need to be competitive with your classmates, even with my school who curves grades. Like, people are gonna do on finals how people are gonna do on finals. You being mean to them is not gonna make them do any worse. So be nice to people, help them out, they'll help you out. They're gonna be your colleagues when you graduate, so be nice to people, talk to people, ask for phone numbers, and build a network. That's like half the reason you're in law school. So, okay, I'm gonna wrap up this video. That has been my experience at ASU Law. It's honestly been an awesome experience. I have nothing but good things to say about the law school, so if you guys are considering it, I hope this video helped. Like I said, my email and my Instagram is below. Feel free to reach out to me with more specific questions or other questions you guys have. I'm happy to talk more offline about it. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, you guys.